Hello YouTubers, it's been a while. Well, I was racking my brain thinking what should I do next. So what I think I'll do is a series from just strictly for beginners. We're going to go from extracts to partials to mini mashes to steeping some hops. We'll be using hops to a full all grain. So this is basically just for the beginning crowd. They're not that gets into it, that wants to make beer and cheap and simple. So you're not going to get any simpler than this. Today what I'm doing is I'm making a Thomas Cooper's IPA, and you've seen it before. It comes in a kit and a kilo. There's the can right here. What we do with the can, we just put that in warm water to get that ready, so it comes out easier. Plus, I'm having a nice home brew. Anyways, so this is for the first timers. Let me see. Well, let's just get to it, I guess. So the easiest way to do this is, what we do is we heat up some water. It doesn't matter if you heat up a gallon or 2 gallons, whatever you feel comfortable with. I probably got this up about halfway. But it's all going into the primary, which is your first pail. So, what we do is we use sugar. Now this sugar that I'm using is not your normal table sugar. It's dextrose, a corn sugar. You can buy that where you buy your beer kit. They'll have that, and they usually put 1 kilogram in there of this, which adds up basically to 6 cups. I put 6 cups in mine. So 6 cups of this, and if you want it beefed up a little bit, which is not going to hurt it, to 5%, put in 7 cups. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to add that in the hot water. I've already got some in there. I just left this one here just to show you folks. Mix it in. Remember, when you heat the water, always take your pot off of the element, because you don't want it boiling, and if it scorches down there, you'll have an awful tasting beer. Terrible, terrible, terrible. So that's pretty simple so far. And then what we'll do is we take the can, Cooper's. You can use muttons or whatever you like, but I don't think you can go wrong with that. And the new muttons ones that they're making there now, M-U-T-O-N-S, is great. So you just add that in your pail, because it's already got the hops in it. And if you went and you boiled this, even if you didn't scorch it, you'd boil the hops out. So always make sure you do that. Then I'll fill this up full of water again. Mix it around. So it should be a real fun adventure, really. I mean, like, you know, any other videos that I make, like I'm going to make an all grain. I have an all grain kit ordered from Ontario Brew Kits. They've got great prices. Anyways, if it doesn't say series in it, like I'm going to have a beginning series, kit and kilo, and a beginner series, partial, mini mash, and right up to all grain. So we just add that to your primary. Now usually 5 gallons is what you use. They sell the pails there too. And I'll add the water. Remember, the water's warm. As long as it's not boiling, it doesn't really matter. You mix that really in good. There's a good shot here. There's a good shot inside the pail. Yeah. Oh. So what we're going to do, folks, is top that up. They usually have a little rib right here, and that's your 5 gallon mark. So any questions that you got too? Doesn't matter. Any questions whatsoever. We're all in a learning process. I basically just started in all grains. I've been doing kit and kilos since the 80s. And they've came a long ways with their products. A long ways. So it tastes a lot better. Well, we won't be using that. Another thing is too, you gotta sanitize stuff. So you can use a cleaner on that. They'll tell you which cleaner to use if your pail's really, really dirty. And you can clean that all out. And then I use a product like Star Sand. Doesn't take very much. This little bottle here, let me see, it probably costs $3 or $4. And you just need a cap or two of this. So once you put a cleaner in there, or you could use OxyClean or whatever you wanted, and clean it out real good. You're going to have to rinse it down and get all that residue out. And then you got to sanitize it. So I use pretty well boiling water in there to sanitize it. I put 2 of those in there, and I go all the way around it. And it's best if you can leave that at 10 minutes anyways. Then you know everything. You're not going to have any infections in your beer or anything like that. So it's great. So what I'm going to do right now is just top that up, and I'm going to go down to the basement. And well, I guess actually I got to show you how to prepare your yeast secondly. So I'm going to fill that up and put that in the basement, and we'll get back to you. Cheers. Okay, what we're going to do now is prepare the yeast. Now, every kit comes with a packet of yeast. Once you get down the road, you might want to change up on the yeast. What I'm doing is putting warm water into a glass. 1 second, folks. See, now it's just a lot of stuff that I read now, and so why even take a chance? So what this is, they say if you take one of these packs and just add it to your beer, you could kill almost half the yeast. I don't know how much truth that is to it, but even on the instructions, a lot of times they'll say rehydrate. And all that means is getting a little warm water like that, throwing the yeast in, just like I did there. I give it a minute or two. Well, in fact, I'll even stir it right now. Yep. I'll stir that right now. And you can, while you're making this kit, actually, you can do this before, because to make this kit, 20 minutes, half an hour, it's not even going to take you very long. I mean, that's just taking your time. So leave that for 15 minutes, and if you wanted to, you could do this first. And by the time that you did this, just what I did there, you'd be ready to pitch. So, and when you do pitch your yeast, make sure that it's around 70 degrees. You know, give or take a bit. I mean, like, you know, 70 degrees. I don't think you can kill yeast unless it's up there fairly high, like probably getting close to, I wouldn't trust anything past like 95. I wouldn't even go there. But I'll just say even 80 degrees is fine. So you've got to have a thermometer to check that. So we'll leave that for 15 minutes. And what's so great about making homebrew is every time you make one, you get to enjoy one. And trust me, back in the 80s, they said, oh, you know, homebrew, you can make it as good as a store. I don't think you could back then, but now, with the stuff that they have out there, and we're going to go through this series, I guarantee you, you'll like it. And you just got to find your taste. Do I like ales? Do I like lagers? Or, you know, it's a whole gamut. But we're going to keep this simple, so I'm not even going to get into that. So to recap, all we did is we heated up some water. We added 6 cups of sugar. If you want that to about 5%, you can put 7. It's not going to hurt it. It's just up to the individual. You know, because that's a lot of times that's what I do, because commercial beer is around 5%, and that's just fine with me. You heat up the can. Make sure you don't boil it. You just heat it up and put it in your primary. Rinse it out. Excuse me. It's awful good. Rinse it out, and then everything will just be perfect. So once I got that topped off, we'll pitch the yeast, and I'll talk to you later. Cheers. Okay, YouTubers. Now what you're going to need is a hydrometer. This will tell you your alcohol content, and nice to have a little flask with that. You can get that the same place. Now, if you look at that hydrometer, it'll start out with 9.999 to 1,000 to way more than you're going to need for beer anyways with this point. Now I already checked mine. All you do is you put it in here like this. Try to get where the suds are not at. And you can spin it just in case, you know, if a suds on it. I've already checked mine, and mine reads 1,040. Now, anything past that is just a bonus, because when it comes down, it usually doesn't bottom out like 1,000. You're lucky if it does, but a lot of times it'll go down to 1,010. To know when it's ready, what you have to do is just basically leave this for a week. And once that stops bubbling, and if you leave it in there for a week, it's ready to bottle. So, you know, it shouldn't be anymore. And if you want to be safe, 9 days. But here's the story, what the real story is. So if you take a hydrometer reading, it's 1,040 now, and then say that you take a hydrometer reading and it's 1,010, just put that back again, wait for 2 more days. And if that hasn't dropped anymore, and it's 1,010, for example, it could be anything. It doesn't matter if it's 1,015 or 1,005. But if that stayed consistent for 2 days, it's ready to bottle. So we did that. Now, remember the yeast we hydrated? We just throw that right in there. I cleaned everything real good here, so. And you gotta sterilize stuff, folks. But I've seen a lot of people just go absolutely mental, and you don't have to do that. But then again, I mean, like, you know, you can't do overkill in sanitization. So you're gonna have a pail like this, and what you do is you lock it down. Down real good. Now, then all we do, well, that'll have to be cleaned later, but obviously I don't need it. Just put about 2 fingers in. 2 fingers. Then put the cap back on. Now this is the important thing, is to see if you got a seal. Once I press down, see that moving like that?
Hold on.
See that moving like that? So, once it moves like that, that means it's not coming out from anywhere else. It's just coming out from that seal. Within 16, 24 hours, that'll be bubbling to beat the band. One other thing that you might want, remember, check the temperature on that. You don't want that any more than, I recommend 75. You can't do any harm. So you want your wort to be about 75 degrees. An auto siphon and another pail like this. This will rack it into the other pail. Because what that's going to do is you're going to have all this. You're going to have croys in there, and you're going to have all yeasties and stuff like that down there. Or not unless you have a spigot, which is probably a better idea. And I have never put one on mine, but I probably should. So I think I can do this one really easy instead of you watching me. So what we do is, say if that was done, for example. This is pail needs cleaned and everything, so don't pay attention to that. I usually put this up top of there. I put this down, and I go up and I put. A lot of people will recommend a cup of dextrose to bulk prime it. This is for the carbonation in your bottle, so you get all those nice bubbles. Now, I would personally go to a 1 1/4. I use a 1 1/3. Now I like mine good and bubbly, but you can't go wrong with a 1 1/4, and especially if you're using, depends, if you're using bottles like this, 1 1/4 is fine, and if you're using plastic ones like I got down in there, you can go to a 1 1/3 because it expands. So that's just as simple as that. That's it. So I'm looking at probably a week, and I'll take my my dextrose. Here's what the most important thing with the dextrose. Once you measure it out a cup to, we'll say a 1 1/4, put that in a small saucepan. Well, first of all, you just heat up some water, put it in a small saucepan, dump that in there, the sugar, the dextrose, mix it around real good. It'll clear right out. And then what you do is you put that in this pail, not this particular one, obviously. And then what you do is you rack this over, mix it real good, because you want to make sure it's all got the same amount of sugar. And then you're ready to bottle, my friend. So I hope this has helped you. If I left anything out, I know there's a lot of guys out there and gals that know a lot more about this than I do, but far as this stuff goes, like I say, I've been doing this since the 80s, and I've never had a problem. I don't think I didn't use as much cleanliness as I do now, but I never ever had one infected. A little aptly one time. That's your off flavor, so that might have had just a tad, but 99.9 have come out 100%. So if you go ahead and do that, it'll be the very best. So, cheers. I'm looking forward to our journey and our series for beginners. So, and you know, and the guys that's been doing it for a while, if you can weigh in, that'd be really, really good, because you know, I don't know everything, that's for sure, or even, you know, I know what I know, and that's pretty well it. If I'm leaving anything out, that's fine, because then, you know. So we're going on this journey together, and I'm going to have a drink of my homebrew. Thank you for watching. If you like it, give it a little check mark there. And I love comments. So if you can put some comments down there, it's always nice to get some comments. Positive, mostly, I hope. But I don't mind criticism at all. But, you know, we just don't like mean-spirited people, that's all. But, you know, or some people just, you know. But anyways, getting off of that topic, what we're going to do is go into bottling after. I think you guys, well, I know you guys can take it from here. So once you get that done and you bottle it, so happy Homebrew Wednesday.